Hello, welcome back to Xplane. We are at Skopje. Today we're going to fly just a little bit to the southeast to Sveti Nikole. So this should be quite a quick flight, I think, today. Lima Whiskey 71 is the name of our destination field. So let's just quickly get through some startups. Just sort out the track IR for a second here. Oh, there we go. And we'll get our battery on. Avionics on. And we'll set our transponder on. And we'll set to the default of 1200. There we go. Mixture on. Sorry, beacon on. We'll leave the mixture as it is. Now we'll just put in a... Actually, we'll get airborne VFR. We won't bother with a flight plan. Mixture full rich. Check pop clear. Fuel pump on. And let's start up. Okay, alternating now can go on as well. Get our taxi and navigation light on. Put the pitot heat on because it's a bit late in the evening. It may get cold. Check the flaps are fully up. And the brake can come off. Right. Let's just taxi around to the right here. See if we can get an idea of which way the wind is coming from. See if we got a windsock anywhere. Don't see one immediately here. So what I'm going to do is just request the I can't request the QNH until I submit a flight plan. What we'll do is we'll check the wind on the ground by the map. Right, we've got light wind, altimeter is 3018. Wind light and variable. Okay, that doesn't really help me. Wind light and variable. From which direction? 30180 is our QNH, so we'll set that. 3018. Right, seems as we don't quite know which way the wind is going, and I still don't see a windsock. We'll taxi left. We'll get ourselves out onto the field runway. We'll get airborne quick smart, and then we'll head towards our destination field, which is basically south and ever so slightly east, I think. We'll take a heading up of about 150. That's my first airborne. So I'm not using a flight. These are windsock just to my left. And just make a quick observation. Windsock's pretty limp. And I don't see any traffic. So we're going to edge out. We'll do some checks before we go. Landing light on. Might as well put the strobe on because it's pretty dark. It's getting dark. And we'll try and make this trip before darkness falls. No one in the pattern. Joining the runway, and we'll get airborne pretty snappy here. Okay. Just juggling the rotors. Oh, there's an aircraft over there now. It's arrived while we've been nodding about here. Right, let's get ourselves airborne. So, runway 34. Nice and quickly up. No messing about today. We go checking the flaps are in the fully up position. Turn the taxi light off and the landing light. everything else on. We're on a current heading 340, so we're going to turn right and we're going to depart on about 140. Taking a quick look at the map. Lima Whiskey. Yeah, let's go with 120 in fact. Throttling back. Going to keep it nice and low. We're not going to go and climb. Zero 06, 07, 08, 09, 10, 11, and 12 is about there. Good. Departing Skopje on 120. Setting for 2200 RPM, 2100 RPM, there or thereabouts, and we'll try and just maintain level. We're away. It's the field behind me, disappearing off into the distance very shortly. So it's a dusk journey. Sun is setting. We've got some nice orange coloration here on the interior of this aircraft. And the sun's setting over there in the west. Right, that's a heading of 120. We've got a very slight climb happening here because we've got some terrain ahead. But it's not very high. It's 500 to 1,000 feet. Rolling farmland. Coming up on 2,000 feet indicated now. Off we go. So a quick flight today. The reason partly being is that I have had a number of stitches removed from my mouth today and I'm a bit sore, so I'm just coming on for a quick fly. Can handle about half an hour with these headphones on before it starts hurting. A little bit of terrain coming up ahead that looks to be about co-op with us, so we may just want to put in a couple of hundred more RPM. And unless it gets dark rapidly before we arrive, we'll do a VFR approach and a VFR landing as well. We'll keep it nice and simple today. As you can see, it's incredibly clear. Hardly a cloud. In fact, I'm not sure I see any clouds. I did slightly adjust my track IR, so now got a bit better range of visual. You can see I can now we can actually look out the rear window there, past the seat belts into the rear passenger seats. Just got a slightly better field of movement, which is good. Just coming off course a fraction to the right, so I'm going to course correct left back onto about 115. Okay, that's 2,500 feet indicated, throttling back now to about 2000 RPM, right at the bottom of the green range. And we'll settle into a level flight here, as close as we can get it, just descending a fraction, so we'll trim that up. Readjusting RPM for 2000, there we go. Just about bang on. We are descending, so we'll trim back. Airspeed is sitting on 100, so let's go for some more thrust. 2100 RPM. How does that sound? Still descending a fraction. Hitting 115 as we wanted. Take a quick look at the map now just to see how we're getting on. Yeah, nice departure out of here. Lima Whiskey 71, which is our destination field of Sveti Nikole, is about 10-15 kilometers ahead of us. So we should be through this in about 10 minutes. Nice quick hop for today's leg. Still in Macedonia. Good airspeed now, coming up 100 knots, 110 miles per hour. Indicated airspeed, and the VSI is just showing us about a 100 foot per minute descent, but that's stabilizing. Terrain ahead is actually a little bit bumpier than I was hoping for. We may have a little trouble finding this field. I was hoping this town where the field is would be in a nice valley, a nice flat plain area, but it may be on this, some of this rolling terrain, so it's been interesting. Interesting getting in. I've got lights down there, that's vehicles on the roads. Our effort should be a few kilometers away now at the 10/11 o'clock position. Coming over these hills with about 300 foot, 400 foot clearance, possibly less. There's a real yellow glow over there in the west. Quite a nice pale bluish yellow though, it's not too obtuse. Just starting to get some colour banding though happening as the sim has trouble rendering the colours, which is frequent occurrence in the evening. So this is why we want to try and get this flight done nice and snappy. This is real world conditions too, by the way, so that's why I haven't set it for the middle of the day. Right, we need to adjust our course to the left through about 30 degrees. It's actually a small conical hill with a saddle coming off it to the north at 12 o'clock now. Airfield should be between us and that mountain, I expect, that hill. Right, there's a town over there. And there's a very flat section of land just between us and the town, so it seems to me like a reasonable place to plonk in an aerodrome, sports field. It's going to be a small field we'll be landing at, I think. Very small one, a sports airfield, probably just a dirt runway. Let's have a look at the map in some detail. We're bang on course. There's the runway. Yep, it's a very short runway, aligned pretty much north-northwest to south-southeast, 1432. Very similar alignment to what we had at Skopje. Start looking in earnest. There we go. That looks like something over there. There. There's a windsock. Just on the other side of this hill, there's a windsock. A lit windsock. That's our field. Yep, I've got threshold lights too. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to start throttling back now down to about 1800 RPM. Going to bring the airspeed right back. Maintain this altitude. We'll get visual on the circuit. There are no other aircraft around that I can see. Some high contrailers off to our 1 o'clock position. Well, they were a second ago. They've just disappeared out of visual range, I think. Ah, there we go. There's one there. Oh, just coming in and out. Let's just move over to the left side of this small ridge line here, this low-lying ridge. We'll take a look at our runway alignment in a bit more detail. Where's that windsock gone? Ooh, there's the field over there. Okay. Right, what direction do we want to land in? No, there's no point getting the altimeter setting because that's not going to tell which way the wind's blowing. Wind here at 12,000 feet at least is crosswind, so don't know what it's like on the ground. I do have green lights at this end of the runway. Green lights at this end and a very slight crosswind. The windsock's pretty much limp, so we're going to approach from this direction. I'm going to turn into what I'm calling in a sort of an extended joining of the base, shall we say. We'll join at the base, quite far out from the field. How's my airspeed? Good. We can put the flaps down if we wanted from here. There's the airfield at 2 o'clock. Just confirming my visuals. Yep. Not a bad length runway. Short, but not too short. Let's put our first notch of flap in. Get the landing light on. Nose just ballooned a bit there. Airspeed's coming back now. 60 knots. Bit more power. Second notch of flap. Bit more power, bit more power. Maintaining 60 knots. And we'll be turning right in just a second. Feet up on pedals. Cheeky landing brake is definitely off. Fuel pumps on. Turning in now. Final flap. Airspeed's getting low. Let's shove some power on here. Get up to 2200 RPM. There we go. Now she's performing. Trimming the nose down. Reduce throttle. Okay. Turning in on to our finals now. 60 knots. Actually, that runway looks pretty short, I've got to say. Looks like it's so short that the two areas of rubber where aircraft are supposed to land at either end are pretty much conjoined. So we're going to have to really work hard to get this aircraft in bang on the threshold here. Otherwise, we are going to run out of concrete. Airspeed 60. Got a good glide angle here. And then we'll just come in a bit short and then we'll just give it a bit of a flare. We'll try and fly over the threshold and just stall it in. Here we go. Over the threshold now. Bit of a flare. Get the nose wheel down. Brakes, 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 brakes. Full brakes on. Full brakes on. Full brakes on. And then we'll turn right here. Just off the end past these lights. We'll try and taxi this machine. Looks like we landed with a tailwind actually. We had a very slight tailwind. So probably landing into wind, we may have just been able to pull off that. There's a bus, come pick us up. We'll just turn this aircraft into wind now, get the flaps up. Perhaps without the flaps, it certainly would have been incredibly difficult to get that landing. There we go. Park the aeroplane here, get the parking brake on. Now we can do some off checks. Taxi, we don't need the taxi lights, we don't need the landing light, we don't need the beacon anymore. Nav, taxi, strobe, pitot heater, not required. Beacon off, fuel pump off. Right, radio off. There we go. Avionics off. We can lean the mixture. Battery, alternator, and magnetos off. There we are. Put the yoke back in. Let's take a look at that landing. Everybody's favourite part. We'll pick it up from here, I think. Looks as good a place as any. You can hear me just throwing a notch of flap in there. Get the sun side of the aircraft here. She comes over the threshold. Second white stripe. Nice touchdown. Brakes, 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 brakes. End of the runway, just coming to a halt. And then rolling off between the lights, turning right. And then getting ourselves off the strip. Very nice. That was fun. A nice quick flight today. But we've added one more leg to our journey.